And these would be fantastic to serve at a barbecue. Today we are heading to Indonesia to make a street food favorite. This is chicken satay sticks, but we are making it vegan, of course, and I'm going to go through a few different options of how to recreate the chicken for this recipe. Now we're using some interesting herbs and spices also in this recipe that I'm going to introduce you to, and also some substitutions to make this soy-free and gluten-free. The first option for our vegan chicken we're going to be using today are these soy chunks. Now I just purchased these online. These ones are fairly small, you can get them in all different sizes, but when I did go to Indonesia I found that a lot of the satay sticks that you get, the meat is quite small in there anyway, so I'm not too concerned about it. And because this is dry, once we rehydrate it, it's actually going to become a lot larger as well. So let's go through the process of how to prepare these vegan soy chunks. Essentially, it is the soy protein, which has been extruded through a machine, and then it's dried and sold like this commercially. So it's very easy to prepare. So in my saucepan here, I just have some water, and to give it the chicken flavor, I'm adding our vegan chicken seasoning that we made. So we're just going to bring this up to a simmer, get it boiling, infused with that flavor, and then add our soy chunks. Now the other option for our vegan chicken that I will show you is we are using these oyster mushrooms. Now there's really not much to prepare, so I've just pulled them out and I'm just going to separate them and get them ready for our marinade. Soy chunks are also known as texturized soy or texturized vegetable protein, and it does come in lots of different sizes. The most common one is the one that's used for ground beef, where they're like very small granules, and then you have different sizes as well. Soy curls is another product which is available that's essentially the same thing. That broth is already starting to smell very chickeny. Now our broth is starting to boil, we can start adding our chicken, vegan chicken of course. So just add your soy chunks. I'm going to bring that back up to a boil. I'm just going to pop my lid on and turn that temperature down, and we're going to cook this for about 5 minutes. So while our soy chunks are rehydrating, we can start creating the marinade for our vegan chicken. So there's two parts to this recipe. We have the marinade for the vegan chicken, and then we have the peanut satay sauce. So I'm going to start making the marinade now. It's very easy, we just need to process everything together, but we are using a couple of unique ingredients that I want to go through. So the first one being our kaffir lime leaves. Now I know not everyone's going to be able to have access to these. Sometimes you might need to purchase them frozen or dried, but if you can't find them, you can also use a little bit of lime zest to taste, okay? I was very lucky I was able to get some of these from a friend of mine who grows them in their garden here in Naxos, so I'm going to be using those today. To give them a bit of a helping hand, I'm going to chop them up and put them in my little mini food processor. So I've just rolled them up and I'm just using my scissors to finely slice it, and they have this beautiful aromatic smell. It has a lime smell, but also sweet and perfume-like, like a little floral kind of aroma to it, and a grassiness. It's absolutely delicious. A little bit of lemongrass or lemon balm. Another unique ingredient is our candle nuts. Now, candle nuts are very commonly used in Indonesian cuisine. They are used to thicken sauces and also give it a nice texture. The closest nut that I can suggest that you can substitute this for is macadamia nuts. They also have a very similar taste to Brazil nuts, so either one of those nuts would work perfectly. So I'm going to toss those in as well, along with some red onion. You could use a yellow onion or a white onion if you'd like. I have some garlic, which I have minced. Some chicken seasoning, which we made. Coriander powder. Coconut sugar, or you could use palm sugar or brown sugar. The coconut sugar is just the most common one used. I have some white pepper. And you can use galang galang, which is very similar to ginger, but if you can't get that, just use ginger. I'm actually using ginger today. Another unique ingredient used in so many dishes in Indonesian cuisine is kecap manis. Now it does have a very unique taste. It is like a sweet soya sauce. It almost has like a caramelized flavor to it. It's really, really delicious. And I would highly recommend, if you can get access to this. I actually ordered this one online from my local Asian grocery store. I will also include in this recipe how to make your own kecap manis and a soy-free option as well. Now let's blend this all together. When I was in Bali, Indonesia, I brought back one of these, which is a stone grinder, or it's like a mortar and pestle, but this is the Indonesian variety. And for all of these sauces, they would use something like this. So for our marinade, they would combine all of those ingredients here, except for the kecap manis, or each individual part, and they will grind it on a stone like this, and then put everything together. Well, here in the modern kitchen, we're going to use all our tools. But I just wanted to show you. I thought it was really cool. And you know, put your nuts in there, put your garlic in there, and grind each component of your sauce. Now that our vegan chicken has been hydrated, I'm just going to transfer it into a bowl. And we're going to remove some of that moisture. So I'm just pressing out some of that excess moisture. Now I've got a couple of containers here. I'm going to put my soy chunks in one and my mushrooms in the other one. Now let's divide this marinade. I'm going to put some in for my soy chunks and some for my mushrooms. You can really smell that kaffir lime leaf and the ginger. I think for the mushrooms, just giving it a bit of a shake will be easier. Yeah, there we go. So I'm going to pop these into the refrigerator, and you want to marinate these for at least 1 hour before you string them onto your skewers. Now for your skewers, if you are going to be taking this to a barbecue, I'd highly recommend that you soak these overnight. So if you're working with an open flame, they're not going to catch on fire. If you're just doing this at home on your pan, in a pan, just soaking them for an hour is totally fine. So I've just popped them in a container, and we're just going to cover those with some water. And I'm just using these bamboo skewers, very standard, that you can just get from the grocery store. If you want to use some different styles or some smaller ones, you can go ahead and do that as well. So just pop the lid on and into the fridge for at least an hour, or overnight if you're working with an open flame. Now let's make our peanut satay sauce. This is my favorite part of this dish. I love to even just eat this sauce with rice. It's so good. So of course the base of this sauce is peanuts. We're using some peanut butter, and I'm using some smooth peanut butter today. And I'm going to add that to our blender, or you can use a food processor. To that we're going to add some fresh garlic, which I have minced. We have our kaffir lime leaves again. I am going to just chop these up a little bit too. I just love the smell of kaffir lime leaves. I think these days you can even get things like candles and soaps with this smell. It's so aromatic and yeah, oh, it's so good. You smell it everywhere when you're in Indonesia, this smell, and of course the jasmine rice as well. We have our kecap manis. And again, if you want a soy-free option, I will include a recipe how to make your own kecap manis without soy, and gluten-free as well. We have a little bit of salt. I'm using some chilies today. You can use as many as you would like. I'm just going to do 2. I don't like things too spicy. I'm just going to put a couple in there. I have some red onion and coconut sugar, or you can use brown sugar or palm sugar. Now the chopped peanuts, we're going to leave those. We're just going to add those at the end for extra crunch. And I have a little bit of water. All right, let's give this a whirl. This is still looking very thick, so I'm going to add a bit more water. So you just want to add water until you get the consistency that you like. I think for now this is looking good. Let's give it a try. Oh, delicious. So I think it needs a little bit more salt. And this is going to be dependent, especially on your peanut butter. If your peanut butter has no salt, you're probably going to need to add a little bit more, like me. We'll do another taste test. That's much better. Now at this stage, you can add your chopped peanuts, and this is for our texture. And we're just going to stir those through. We don't want to puree them. And let's get this into a container until we're ready to use. And just transfer it into the fridge. So now we can start stringing our vegan chicken onto our skewers, which have been soaking. So I'm just going to take those out. We have our 2 types of chicken, our soy, and then also the mushroom. Now I've got quite a few of our soy chunk version. I'm going to do some of the mushroom now. So with the mushroom one, I'm just trimming my mushrooms into about 1-inch width pieces. And we're just going to tightly pack them onto our skewers. Okay, so I think I've got enough skewers threaded. We can start grilling these. So while our pan is heating up, I'm going to start warming our peanut sauce. I'm just going to pop this into a saucepan just on a really low heat. We're not looking to cook it, it's just to warm it up. Now our pan's nice and hot, we can add some oil and just give these a nice char. And we're just looking to get a little bit of colour. So now we've got some nice colour on them. I'm just going to transfer them onto a tray and into the oven to keep warm while I cook my mushroom ones. Now I'm using the same pan, but if you're trying to keep away from different allergens, just make sure that you clean your pan and use a fresh one. And these would be fantastic to serve at a barbecue. Now we can go ahead and start plating. So typically this would be served on a plate with a banana leaf. I don't have a banana leaf, but I do have these dried leaves that I got from the Asian grocery store just to kind of give it a similar feel. And I'm going to put down a little bit of our sauce first. And a little bit more on top. And for some garnishes, we are going to be using some lime wedges. I've got some red onion as well. And if you're someone who likes a little bit spicy, we have some sambal oelek. So it's very common that you see in a lot of these Indonesian dishes that they'll put all of the condiments sort of on the side, so you can just take what you want. And we're also going to finish off with some crunchy fried onions. So there we have it, guys. That was our vegan chicken satay with peanut sauce. Doesn't that look incredible? Oh my goodness, I think that I'm back in Bali. So I can't wait to give these a try. And there you have it, guys. That is our peanut satay with vegan chicken. I hope you enjoy this one, guys, and I'll see you in the next video.